Hello and welcome. Have you ever felt like you're searching for something big, something really important, but you just don't know where to look? Well, we're going to explore this really powerful idea that maybe, just maybe, the answers we're all looking for, the keys to our purpose, are actually hiding in plain sight, way closer than we think.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's look at this wild statistic from the writer Kevin Kelly. He points out that a whopping 95% of the things we lose, your keys, your wallet, your phone, are found, you guessed it, incredibly close to where we last saw them. Right there in that immediate bubble around us. Now, that's a neat trick for finding your keys, right? But what if it's more than that? What if it's this profound metaphor for finding your way in life? I mean, what if the life you're really looking for is already folded into the space right around you, just waiting for you to notice it? So, if our purpose is hiding right there, in plain sight, how do we actually see it? Well, that brings us to our first big idea, our starting point. We have to figure out the exact moment our real story actually begins. The writer Stephen Pressfield brings up this perfect example, Shakespeare's Hamlet. Think about it. Everything that happens before the ghost shows up, that's just setup. It's all prologue. But the second that ghost speaks and gives Hamlet his mission, bam, that's the inciting incident. That's the moment Hamlet gets his true purpose, and the play really kicks off. And here's what's so cool about this. It's a frame for our own lives, right? Pressfield basically says that everything before we find our intention, before we meet our own ghost, so to speak, is just the setup. All that wandering, all that waiting, it's not wasted time. It's just the necessary prologue before the real action begins. And the advice here is to be patient, for sure, but definitely not passive during that setup phase, It's all about keeping your radar on, staying open, staying aware, because eventually your own ghost will speak, and your story is going to ignite. Okay, so you've got it. You have your intention, your ghost has spoken, now what? I mean, how do you get from knowing what to do to actually doing it? How in the world do you cross that massive gap? Well, according to the marketing genius Seth Godin, the answer is systems. He says systems are the bridge. They're what connect today to tomorrow. They're the structures that stop our good intentions from just fizzling out into random impulses. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. We all love this myth of the lone cowboy, right? The rugged individual figuring it all out on their own. But Godin is like, nope, that's actually a terrible strategy. The real power, the game changer, comes from building and using systems that let us work together to scale our intentions way, way beyond what any one of us could do alone. And these quotes just hammer that point home. It's not the lone, angry impulse that achieves great things. It's calm, collaborative thinking. That's how an intention stops being just one person's idea and starts to actually, change things. All right, so we've got intention, we've got systems, but what's actually happening inside our heads when we commit to this path? Let's get into the science of it because it's fascinating to see why this kind of focused practice really works. The author, Robert Greene, breaks it down beautifully. He explains that mastery is literally a biological process. So when you're learning something new, your conscious brain, your frontal cortex, is just buzzing. It's working overtime. But as you practice over and over, that skill gets offloaded. It gets hardwired into the deeper, more automatic parts of your brain. And the result is incredible. A master's brain becomes remarkably quiet while they're performing their skill. It's just effortless. Now, here's the crucial part. This whole process compounds. It builds on itself. Every new skill you master actually builds new neural infrastructure, new roads and bridges in your brain. And that makes it easier to learn the next thing. You are literally, physically building a richer, more capable brain with every single act of practice. And this quote from NBA star Bam Adebayo, it's a perfect example of this in action. I mean, just listen to the speed and rhythm of it. It's almost like poetry. That's a mind that has so deeply mastered a concept that he's not even just saying it anymore. His brain is performing it. So, when you put all these pieces together, when you combine that clear intention with robust systems and this biological process of mastery, where does that lead? What's the final destination? Well, you arrive at this state, a state that's been described as the quiet mind. And yeah, it's that same quietness we saw in the master's brain, but expanded. It's a whole way of being. It's this state of calm clarity, totally free from all the noise and chatter of uncertainty. And listen, this state isn't some accident. It doesn't just happen to you. No way. It's the earned outcome of everything we've talked about. It's the fruit of having a crystal clear direction, having the structures to support you, and having the discipline to practice until that skill is just second nature. And at this level of mastery, the deepest truths aren't just spoken, they're transmitted. It's like how a hug can communicate something way beyond words. The person with a quiet mind can convey wisdom and understanding with a kind of clarity that never ever needs to shout. Okay, let's bring this all full circle. Let's connect that quiet mind of the master all the way back to where we started, with that simple idea of searching for something that's already within arm's reach. Because the purposeful life we're all looking for, it's built from these interconnected forces. And here's the real kicker. Every single one of them is available to us right now, in our immediate radius. Our intention, our attitude, the systems we decide to build, the skills we choose to practice, our patience with timing, and the community we nurture around us. It's all right there. And this just completely redefines what we think of as luck, doesn't it? It's not some random thing that just happens to us. Luck becomes a skill. It's the skill of seeing what's already there. It's about learning to search within arm's reach and finally recognizing the incredible value in the resources you already have. So, if you remember one thing, remember this. The most important components of a truly meaningful life, they aren't off in some distant land or waiting for you in some far-off future. They are right here, right now, just waiting to be picked up. Because remember, 95% of the time, what you're really looking for is already within arm's reach.